Honestly, I didn't feel pressured, but I wanted to carve my own way. Really, I think her influence is still there. I think it really started with growing up with my family's love for eating well. I interned in a restaurant in New York, which really made me love the industry a lot. And lastly, I do travel regularly with my family, my mom specifically. And there's this one trip where we really researched on sort of like the signature regional dishes of Italy. And I really fell in love with trying to find the best version of each dish. And I think that's what really prompted me to make Amano, which is a fresh and faithful Italian restaurant. I thought of other paths actually rather than hospitality, but I think the pull of seeing happy faces from all the guests of my mom, of my uncles in all their restaurants sort of really pulled me in and made me want to consider that path as well, but doing it my own way. Amano actually proudly is 5 years old now. I consider it a fresh and faithful Italian restaurant. Whereas we are anchored by tradition of Italy, we try to find tiny tweaks to still make it the best version of it. It's actually a ever-evolving thing for us that we keep trying to make our own best version, or what we consider our version of a traditional dish. After Amano, we opened Ramen Ron, which is it used to be Ukoke Ramen Ron, which is a restaurant in Pasay Road. They had this really famous Tantan men, and he was considered sort of the pioneer of ramen here in the country. During the pandemic, he wanted to go back to Japan. We actually just tried to really convince him that home was still here for him. And what was so nice is that he trusted us with his brand to not change the things that mattered to him, but also to bring it to a next level. Steak and Fries is not your traditional steakhouse. We serve steak with French fries, but also with steak rice, because as we all know, we're here in the Philippines, and everything's just better with rice. We opened it in December of last year, and it's been doing quite well, and I'm proud of it. In terms of opportunities for Filipino hospitality brands, I've noticed that a lot of international brands are coming in more and more, and I'm hoping that in the next 5 to 10 years, the opposite happens, in the sense that homegrown Filipino brands expand and go to other countries. It's because I think our level of hospitality here, our unique Filipino hospitality, is able to shine even more so when abroad. You really have to make it and learn from your mistakes, make mistakes, and also learn from them to be consistently working towards your goals. It's something that I've only been able to say now because it's been 5 years, but I think always learning from the mistakes and try to find ways to improve and to prevent them from happening again. In terms of handling criticism, I think it's really treating it firstly as feedback, and that they mean well for you. As a team, hear and then listen and then learn from it and then respond, most importantly. Especially with your response, it really has to be immediate, but more importantly, it's also finding ways to show them that you have long-term solutions, and lastly, ways also to prevent it from happening again. Her influence is really more than specific things that she did. It was more the consistency that it's been more than 25 years, and she treats people the same way, she treats her customers the same way, and her work ethic is the same as when she started. Honestly, I didn't feel pressured, but I wanted to carve my own way. That's why Amano proudly is, I would say, was very different from what Italian restaurant she started. Of course, the rules of Italian food are the same, but I really tried to make it as different as a concept. But I think all the things that I learned and heard from her, just being in her periphery, is quite obvious in the restaurant. So as much as I want to say that I did my own way, really, I think her influence is still there. I think quite a few. Chef Jordi Navarra of Toyo Eatery, most especially because he champions Filipino ingredients. And I think that really is something admirable. And I'd like to think that I try to apply that in all my concepts, whether Filipino or not. So aside from Jordi, I really admire the Moment Group, most especially Eli Antonino and Abba Napa, most especially because of the way that they're able to grow their restaurant group in a way where their quality still remains, and they really make an impact with the food culture here in the country. And lastly, my uncle Oye Forés, cousin Raul, and Tita Malu Forés of Mamu, with the way they've also grown their restaurant group and still maintaining their heart and soul, and also their restaurant food standards are still as delicious as it was when it first opened.